The Miami Hurricanes have arrived with high hopes for the 2013 season. Their leader is senior quarterback Stephen Morris. The Canes will live by his arm and the legs of electrifying sophomore Duke Johnson. Tonight they face Florida Atlantic, a team looking to get the season started with a huge in-state upset. It's ESPNU Friday Night College Football next. Tonight from Sun Life Stadium, the Miami Hurricanes take the field for the first time in 2013 and welcome the Florida Atlantic Owls. The reason is the play of their quarterback Stephen Morris, who finished last season as hot as any quarterback in college football.
Tom, I'm all in when it comes to quarterback Stephen Morris because he has a big, strong arm. He's mobile in the pocket, and he's embraced the role of leader on this football team. Not just the offense, but on this football team. And he's building upon the last 4 games of last year where he threw 10 touchdowns, didn't turn it over, and he threw for over 1,100 yards.
And then there's the electrifying Duke Johnson, last year's ACC Rookie of the Year. Now he has a starring role.
He is so fun to watch, not only in the backfield, but on special teams, because he can break a run for 40, 50, 60 yards. He's explosive, and he led the nation with 11 all-purpose plays of 50 yards.
So message sent by Pelini. Miami won the toss, elected to defer. Keith Reeser, the fastest player on the Owls roster, is set to return for FAU.
Tom, this should be a good one to start this game because a lot of athletes from South Florida playing on both sides.
Pat O'Donnell gets it in the air. Reeser won't have a chance. And here comes Florida Atlantic. We expect a no-huddle, up-tempo spread offense. His running back is Jonathan Wallace. He's their leading rusher from last season. We expect a heavy dose of him. Richardson and Duke's a wide receivers at the top. Here's Wallace straight ahead and through some orange jerseys. A nice gain of 4 on first down for FAU. But they will change their tempo. Offensive coordinator Brian Wright says we have 4 different tempos, and it will be decided upon pace of the game how fast we want to go. Design quarterback run ahead at the line of scrimmage and a squirm for a couple for Jaquez Johnson. Let's take a look. 3rd and 4 for Jaquez Johnson, sophomore from Starkville, Mississippi. To throw for the first time. Tipped, intercepted, no, off the hands of Denzel Perriman. He saw green and he saw 6, and Perriman couldn't squeeze it.
Tom, he may get knocked out by the goalpost if Perriman can pick this one up and just catch it. He had 2 interceptions in the spring game for Miami, just like that, off of tip passes. He was able to gather those and bring them into the end zone. This time, Denzel tried to run before he caught the football.
Perriman Jr. from Coral Gables. Nonetheless, forces a punting situation for Sean Kelly and the Owls. 2 deep to return, including Philip Dorsett. Angled kick towards Dorsett, pushing him back to the 19. Good block on the edge, and Dorsett, flag on the play, takes it past the 25-yard line. Morris last season set a Miami school record for total offense, better than 3,400 yards. And a flea flicker to start from the goal line. Morris now looking for Johnson. He's got room and plenty of it. Duke Johnson with a heck of a start to the season. A stiff arm into midfield. DeJohn Smith finally ran him out of bounds. A little bit of flash to start the season and a 38-yard gain.
We talked about Duke Johnson at the open. He led the nation with 11 all-purpose plays of 50 yards or more. Duke Johnson picking up as well, like Stephen Morris, where he left off.
Quick hitter to the outside. Alan Hearns gets a block, takes it inside the 45. DeJohn Smith, another tackle. Reeser is there as well for Florida Atlantic. So no huddle again on 2nd and 1. Another hitter to the outside to Hearns, and he takes the sideline. Finally popped out of bounds by Damian Barnes. Here's Kajemi's Keys. 2 grabs already for Hearns. Here's Duke Johnson slicing through the defense and through that front 7 of Florida Atlantic. Picks up nearly 8 on first down. Duke Johnson, the ACC Rookie of the Year. He had 4 100-yard rush games. Against Virginia, he had a kickoff return for a touchdown, and he threw a touchdown pass. He is as dynamic as they get in college football.
Well, this is where they like to isolate their wide receivers. If they can get a matchup they like, Stephen Morris will take a shot in the end zone.
Hearns, bottom of the formation. Dorsett, top side. Morris looks towards Hearns on the fade. For Miami, 3 wide this time on 3rd and 2. This is Hearns, 3rd catch of the game. Hearns hit behind the line, and he won't have a chance to pick up the first. There's that play by Reeser.
Miami will go for it on 4th down.
Pro-style offense will line up with 2 tight ends on the right side. I formation, Hagan's a fullback. Duke Johnson. Johnson hit, needed a full yard, and it'll depend on the spot. Brandon Bryant and Randall Johnson were there for the stop. So Miami goes for it on 4th down. They turn it over on downs. Do you agree with that decision?
I do. I think you have an offense that you're going to score points. You want to dominate. You have to try to dominate right from the start.
To start the 2nd series. He's good in the read option game. See how this changes their offensive look. Miami shows blitz. Hankerson keeps it and runs into trouble at the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go. Shayon Green, the first Cane he found. Senior from Tipton, Georgia.
Bit to get away from those big fellas in between the tackles.
True freshman quarterback, came on in the summer, wasn't there for spring ball. They motion Wallace out. Hankerson deep ball and man coverage incomplete. There's a flag. William Dukes was the intended receiver. Antonio Crawford, a sophomore cornerback, had a hold of his jersey. Greg Hankerson at quarterback for FAU. Jaquez Johnson started the game. Straight ahead for Wallace into a sea of orange. Let's take a look at our impact players. Gain of 2 moments ago, so 2nd and 8 as Wallace leaves the backfield again. Hankerson double clutches, incomplete. Trying to find Dukes coming across the middle.
Like they're in right now.
Hankerson is a good runner. He's got trips to the top of the formation. 3rd and 8 for FAU. Fires a bullet off the hands of Dukes, incomplete, and the Owls will have to punt it away. Dallas Crawford and Philip Dorsett deep to return for Miami.
This is where Miami can be dangerous. They can hurt you on special teams.
They rush right towards that angled punt. Crawford gets his hands on it at the 17. No return. Great special teams coverage by the Owls. Al Golden took the Miami job 3 years ago from Temple with no knowledge of an ongoing or impending NCAA investigation. The investigation is over, but still nothing has been decided. They expect to hear something any moment from the NCAA. It began in March of 2011. Investigation into both football and men's basketball. It concluded finally in June when Miami appeared before the Committee on Infractions. They expect to receive notice from the NCAA any moment. At that time, they'll have a chance to answer those and hopefully get on with playing football. For consecutive seasons, each of the last 2 years, they've self-imposed postseason bans, which included a chance to appear in the ACC title game last year. Stephen Morris hands off to Duke Johnson. He's got room. He's running away from everybody in a beautiful cutback. Johnson inside the 40. And that's why they want to just focus on football, because there is a ton of talent on South Beach. 42 yards for Duke Johnson.
Tom, we talked about how explosive Duke Johnson can be. He had the freshman rushing record of close to 1,000 yards. But look at in the open field, he just makes people miss. That's what makes him so special.
And here he is again off the right side to the 35-yard line. There was a flag on the play, however. 80 yards on 2 plays for Duke Johnson. However, he spent 10 hours the first day, 8 hours the second day of the hearings, sitting in, learning some of this information for the first time. He was kept in the dark because he wasn't a witness, nor was he being investigated. Morris flushed, lets it go complete. That is Clive Walford. And another game through the air. Keith Reeser with the program while ignoring that cloud has been simply amazing.
Resiliency. It's a resilient team. It's a resilient staff, and he's the leader of all of them.
Play action for Morris off his back foot into coverage, and no, not intercepted, but a flag on the play. Jeremy McKnight had the coverage. You may flip a coin on who interfered with whom.
Either way, Tom.
So back to Miami after a 15-yard gain, and Dallas Crawford with the carry. Depends on when that flag was thrown. The first contact seemed to come from McKnight, and then that turned Dorsett into Florida State. Duke Johnson Nice vision. Hit at the line of scrimmage by Andre Kirk. The ball came loose at the end after forward progress had been stopped. Play clock winding down. It's at 2. FAU brings 4. They get pressure. Morris, touchdown, and off the hands of Stacy Coley. Knocked away by Damian Parms. And that'll bring up 4th down for Miami.
Stephen Morris didn't see Coley early, but he was wide open going down the seam. He missed him because he was looking to the outside. He finally finds the freshman wide receiver, and he can't hang on to the football. That's a good break on the football, never giving up by this secondary.
35-yard attempt for Matt Gudis. First year as Miami's kicker, and he bangs it through. So Miami, dealing with a stalled drive, is able to punch it through on the field goal to take their first lead of the season. We might be going in circles here tonight.
It looks like it so far. Stephen Morris trying to get some big play offense, and on the outside he was trying to find his young freshman receiver Stacy Coley, and the offensive coordinator James Coley talks about COD, change of direction, and Stacy has a ton of it at wide receiver. Just needed to hang on to that football in the end zone for 6 points.
Martese Jackson and Lucky Whitehead back to receive. No chance here. Some extra activity up at the 20-yard line between these two teams. In the air and 4 touchdowns for East Mississippi Community College. Martese Jackson is behind him. This is Jackson. Jackson slides through on the right side for a gain of 2. Better than 30 points a game. That was 10th in the ACC. This is Johnson with the keeper, and he knifes his way through for a nice gain. That'll set up 3rd and short. Luther Robinson with the stop.
Last season 22, it's trending in the right direction.
3rd and 2 for FAU. Quarterback keeper, and he pushes his way through for a 1st down. Cornelius with the stop. Miami changes their defense on play action, pressure, and Johnson almost got out of it. It'll be a loss of 1 on 1st down. Casey Rogers, the second, the senior from Southlake, Texas, was back there.
Great job by Casey Rogers. 6'2", 212. He just doesn't get airborne. He's able to keep the quarterback in front of him and chase him to help. That's what you like to see. You don't want to go and attack the quarterback and give your body up. He stayed on the ground and chased Johnson to help.
2nd and 11. FAU just treading water on offense. Great hands on the leaping grab by William Dukes. And that'll set up 3rd as intermediate routes. We saw him drop 1 on a slant already today. Officially 3rd and 4. Here's pressure. Johnson lets it go. Incomplete. It was initially tipped by Perriman. Lucky Whitehead was the intended receiver. He could not adjust.
Danzel gets his hands on the football again from that outside linebacker position. Whitehead could not come down with the football. That's a good set of downs for Miami. They do give up a 1st down, but they are able to pressure the pocket, something they're trying to build and work upon, and trying to build on those turnovers. They get their hands on the football on 3rd down.
A couple of boomers from Sean Kelly. His 3rd punt of the night is taken at the 20 by Philip Dorsett. Dorsett gets turned around and only makes it out to the 21. There is no problem with Miami's offense between the 20s, but they have stalled in the red zone multiple times. Out of the I formation, Duke Johnson, a home run hitter, and they corral him seemingly around the neck. A gain of a couple. Andre Kirk with the stop. Here as Miami looks a little sluggish in the 1st quarter when it comes to putting points on the board. 2nd and 9. This is Stacy Coley past the 30. Christian Milstead brings him down. What do you think of Miami's
feeling
offense?
out process on offense? I think they're doing just fine. I have to give credit to FAU's defense.
Here's an off-tackle run by Duke Johnson that takes him past the 40. Keith Reeser with the stop. And Johnson slowly helped up. Johnson last year at 11.6 carries a game. They think he can carry the load more often this season.
Well, he's put on some weight. He's added 8 extra pounds of muscle. And I think that they're going to use him not only in the backfield like they did and try to put the spotlight on him more, but continue to give him opportunities in special teams.
Now over 1,000 and over 1,000 quickly. He went for 947 on the ground last year, averaging a first down every time he touches the ball tonight. Play action. Morris has all day, unloads deep, one man, incomplete. Coverage deep downfield by Damian Parms. Dorsett was the man there.
Find the matchup where the ball was thrown on the inside.
That leaves 2nd and 10, and Duke Johnson, good move behind the line of scrimmage. Now to the edge, and Johnson forced out by Parms. And DeJohn Smith in his first season as the offensive coordinator here at Miami. He came down from Tallahassee. OC for Jimbo Fisher at FSU. Over the middle and right off the hands of Stacy Coley. It's his 2nd touchdown. Coley has had slipped through his fingertips. I suppose that's what happens to freshmen on opening night, and Morris not too happy about it.
It's frustrating. You have to admit, as a quarterback, it gets frustrating when you throw footballs exactly where they need to be and the wide receivers don't come up with it. But that's when you have to go give them a hug on the sidelines, pat them on the back, and say, listen, you're going to get your opportunity again. Next time, take it to the house. All you have to do is catch that football and jog into the end zone, and it's 10-0.
Pat O'Donnell punts it away. And that one will trickle inside the goal line for a touchback. O'Donnell, the transfer from Cincinnati. Not the start that Stephen Morris has wanted. They've moved the ball, but they haven't put points on the board.
Johnson in the passing game, in the running game, rely on that offensive line and keep being accurate down the field.
3rd quarterback of the night for Florida Atlantic. This is DJ Justy, freshman from Port St. Lucie, Florida. Handles the high snap. He'll keep it himself. He played primarily as an option quarterback in high school, and so we expect to see the same from him. Is Johnson. Hankerson back on the field. He has split time here in the 1st quarter with Jaquez Johnson. FAU has yet to cross midfield, and that was behind Lucky Whitehead, junior from Manassas. To Jonathan Wallace tonight. He only has 2 carries. 3rd and 7. Pressure on. Hankerson steps away. Now he'll tuck. He scrambles for a first down and a huge gain for the Owls, and a flag on the play. Hankerson with a feet-first slide and a late hit from Miami. That's Denzel Perryman. Remember, he dropped an interception early in the game. Here he is, couldn't hold up.
Good feel for the presence in the pocket by the young freshman. Watch him slide down the end. There's no need to even get close to Greg Hankerson if you're Denzel Perryman. Just walk away, run off to the sidelines. He's already committed to go down. Now you give extra yardage on that run.
Well, that was great pursuit by Perryman. They tack on 15. Florida Atlantic past midfield for the first time under the direction of Greg Hankerson. Miami brings 3. Hankerson still troubled by 3, and he goes down. Swallowed up by Olsen Pierre.
Tom, I mentioned before, when you have a young quarterback, it's tough to stay still in the pocket. There was no reason for Greg to run into the sack. Watch, there's no pressure in the pocket. He just needs to slide to his left. Instead, he slides to the right into the arms of a sack.
Sack of the game for the Canes comes from Pierre. Duke Johnson once again is shining bright here on South Beach. Florida Atlantic, they've used 3 quarterbacks tonight, have the Owls. Hankerson swings it out. trying to make something happen and nothing doing. Martise Jackson was the man out of the backfield. Thurston Armbrister with the stop.
Good about the way you're competing with speed, with toughness at the line of scrimmage. So I think he's very fortunate to be where he is going into the second quarter.
3rd and 17 now for the Owls. Looking to throw. Winds up. Deep ball and nobody there. Punting situation coming. William Dukes was one of the intended receivers, perhaps the nearest one. Kelly's been consistent tonight. That is a big league punt with fantastic hang time. See where they mark it. Walking up to the 7. The sidelines in Brooke Weisbrod.
You guys, after that last series where Stacy Coley dropped that second pass, quarterback Stephen Morris came off the sideline. It was absolutely steaming. He was pacing the sideline, clenching his jaw. And then after a couple of minutes, he grabbed Philip Dorsett, came over, had a huddle, an impromptu meeting with both Philip Dorsett and Stacy Coley. He pushed away the photographers and said, guys, let's just get this together. Kind of patted Stacy Coley on the butt, told him he'd be all right. Meeting was over, back out to business as usual.
Thank you, Brooke. Duke Johnson with the carry on 1st down. The leadership qualities are those that Al Golden certainly appreciates from Stephen Morris. He said the biggest challenge he faced as a leader was the decision to get into his teammates' faces, especially last year when they complained about too much work, too much conditioning, and he was quick to put them in their place. Little swing pass incomplete, looking for Maurice Havens. How tough is that to learn as a quarterback?
I don't think it's tough at all.
3rd and 3. They haven't had trouble moving the chains so far tonight. Little pick route, and that is complete over the shoulder catch by Herb Waters. And Waters takes it past the 45. Miami sideline wants a flag on Damian Parms. It'll stick as a 33-yard gain on a beautiful touch pass from Stephen Morris.
Boy, you get speed everywhere. Dorsett has it, Hearns has it, Coley has it, and now Herb Waters, you mentioned, Tom, a little pick play, little rub to the outside, and you get him down that rail. That's a nice touch pass by Stephen Morris.
On 1st and 10, little read. Duke Johnson straight ahead. Say goodbye to Duke Johnson. Johnson has touches of 38 yards, 43 yards, and now a 53-yard gash. He's already at $130 for the night.
He's just flat out fun to watch. Duke Johnson explodes off the left side, gets airborne, and goes 53 for 6.
Matt Gudis with the extra point. Miami finds the end zone for the first time. It's no surprise that it was courtesy of the Duke. He's a master of big plays. And all it took was a little hurdle to clear the way. Duke took it the rest. Lucky Whitehead and Martise Jackson back to return. We'll show you a look here in a minute. There's a flag. Miami was offsides on the kick. Whitehead wants to bring it out. Whitehead with a full head of steam runs it right in to Tyrone Cornelius. The question is, how do you run your offense when you know you may be trailing soon when they have this kind of potential?
Well, you have to give the offensive line credit because Duke Johnson is an extraordinary athlete, but the strength of this football team is that offensive line. There was plenty of room to run, and then it's up to number 8 to make one man miss. He was able to hurdle that person, that player, to get into the end zone. Special talent right there for the U.
Averaging 14.4 yards a carry. He also has a big reception. Handoff to Jonathan Wallace. And 4 yards on the ground for the senior from right here in Florida. So the question, you know, before that last score was, what do you do if you're Florida Atlantic when it comes to tempo? Do you want to shorten this game, or do you want to take some shots knowing that eventually you're going to have to score points?
That's the tough question for head coach Carl Pelini. It should have been 21-0 Miami. He looked up at the scoreboard a couple seconds ago, and it was 3-0. There's too many big play potential for Miami if you're FAU to slow the game down. I think you just have to run your offense and your defense and see how the outcome is after 4 quarters.
Nowhere to go for Florida Atlantic. Jonathan Wallace empties out of the backfield. Miami shows blitz. Here they come. Quick hitter complete. Slant for a first down and past the 40 to Wallace. Big time play for FAU. Antonio Crawford with the stop.
Perfect call by Brian White, the offensive coordinator. A nice execution that time by the freshman Hankerson of standing tall in the pocket. And Jonathan Wallace, that's the matchup they go to on the outside.
Roll right, fired deep, complete again. This time it's Lucky Whitehead. They are no huddle. They can go up tempo if they want. They're certainly doing it here. Quick hitter to the outside. This is Richardson. Nice moves to the interior. And inside the 35 goes DeAndre Richardson. Back from
stop and go to try to get a quick 6.
Miami's defense wasn't set. Here goes Hankerson. And a cutback before he's clotheslined right at the marker. Jimmy Gaines with the stop. When they go fast, they have calls 1 through 9 that bring in specific plays. And so they can get on the line and run the plays immediately. Johnson play action. Wanted to go intermediate, tripped up, and he's taken down. Second sack of the night for Miami. It's the first for Anthony Chickillo, the junior from Tampa. Consecutive start for Anthony Chickillo tonight, whose dad Tony played for the Canes back in the late 70s, early 80s. Second and long. On the end around, room to run for the Owls. Inside, out at the 15 goes DJ Justy. Justy, the 3rd string quarterback, was in to run one play QB. Now he comes on the jet sweep.
Well, he's the most elusive runner of the quarterbacks. They bring him in and send him in motion, and the Canes are lucky they didn't get a personal foul there on the sidelines, or maybe they did.
Freshman Justy's now at quarterback out of the shotgun. He's got Wallace behind him. He wants to keep it. Looked like a broken play off the high snap and nowhere to go. Jimmy Gaines plugging up the middle for Miami. 10th play of the drive for FAU. They've already covered 67 yards. Most successful drive of the night. Hankerson lofted, tipped, and incomplete. Alex DeLeon was the intended receiver. Tyrone Cornelius had the coverage. Remember, this Florida Atlantic team was without their 1st string tight end, Darren Howard, suspended for the first 3 games of the season, just announced by Carl Pelini. He and 4 others sitting tonight.
And Tom, that's the second quarter. If you're Hankerson, you got to go down the bottom with a single receiver.
Looks that way. Lofted, incomplete, trying to find William Dukes. Ladarius Gunner had the coverage.
Not give him a chance to catch that football.
25-yard attempt for Mitch Anderson. He hit 7 of 14 last year. Low line drive punched through. So Florida Atlantic finds a scoreboard for the first time after an 11-play drive. FAU is able to score. Championship team being honored by Miami. Dorsett and Duke Johnson back. This is Duke Johnson who will take a knee. Let's go back to what Florida Atlantic was able to accomplish on offense. And you said you saw it last night.
They can stay with Miami, but you always have to prevent the big play from the U's offense.
More on that in a moment as Morris sets up, now scrambles, will cut it back and has plenty of room straight up the hashes and slides down. Now we talked about that Georgia game last year for FAU. They're tied at 14 in the 2nd quarter. And then next thing you know, Aaron Murray and the Bulldogs put up a school record 713 yards of offense.
Ouch, yeah. That can happen in a hurry. That's the positive momentum that Carl Pelini wants to avoid tonight.
Here's Duke Johnson looking for some blockers and powers his way through for a couple of yards. Johnson is now a featured back as he moves into the slot. And they give to the fullback, Maurice Hagans.
Well, Tom, Duke's going to get his touches. He's going to get it catch yards or more last season.
Scoreboard says Duke's winning.
Easily.
3rd and short. Here he is right side and keeps his feet, finds the sideline, a first down and more. What tremendous body control and balance by Duke Johnson, who got turned sideways at the line of scrimmage on a hit by Martin Wright. Gain of 16.
Remember, this is a new improved Duke Johnson. He added 8 to 10 pounds of bulk, and he's able to show you that balance with power and keep those feet going north and south. That's an impressive run. He can take it the distance with his speed, but I think you're going to see more power running out of Duke this season.
Eduardo Clements now in the backfield next to Morris as Johnson gets a breather. Morris, quick hitter tip, nearly picked. Great hands by DeJuan Smith, the junior out of Miami's American High School. 2nd and 10. Nice touch over the middle, too much. I spoke too soon. Dorsett broke off his route. Damian Parms nearly had a play on it. Lead on Florida Atlantic. Earlier this game, Stephen Morris suffered through a couple of drops by freshman Stacy Coley. A moment ago, he saw Philip Dorsett break off his route. What do you do as a quarterback when you get frustrated by your receivers?
Tom, that's where you get tested for your leadership. You know, Stephen Morris embraced that over the summer, and he had to embrace it tonight. He had to go over on the sidelines and make sure he got his point across that he wants to get better execution. But you have to go pat that guy on the back and say, hey, Stacy, I'm with you, and I'm going to continue to come to you tonight.
Now it's 3rd and 10. He rolls and fires a strike to the 30-yard line. This is Hearns, short of the first down. Reeser with the coverage. Hearns is the one man that Stephen Morris has utmost confidence in, especially as a route runner. So it would be no surprise after a broken off route that he would go to Hearns even if he was short of the sticks.
Well, that's the guy that's so dependable in his route running. He's in and out. He's precise when he comes in and out of routes, so you can trust him on the edge.
45-yard attempt for Matt Gudis. Gudis just fits it in. Al Golden was anxious to see what his sophomore kicker would do here tonight under the bright lights. And he's been good for 2. 10-point Cane lead.
To find out what's going to happen, and they've self-imposed the last couple of seasons with not going to bowl games and not challenging for the ACC title. It's frustrating.
Picked up at the 3-yard line by Lucky Whitehead.
That's what they have to try to get back to.
Good news for FAU. William Duke's back on the field after going down in a heap against the wall. Here comes the weak side blitz, and straight up the middle goes Jaquez Johnson. Anthony Chickalo with the stop for Miami. 2nd and 7 now for FAU. Chickalo's been in on a couple of key plays, including a sack. Justy in motion again. Jet sweep again. Beautiful cutback. Off the Miami penetration, Luther Robinson finally with the stop. A.J. Highsmith came in there to turn Justy around. They need 6. It is tipped and incomplete again. Casey Rogers had it slip through his hands. A case of butterfingers in the first half for Miami. Jensen Stoshak was the intended receiver. Jaquez Johnson leaves the field after this one, a near miss.
Tom, you have to make a better throw if you're Jaquez Johnson. That throw's right in front of you. You've got a clean pocket to scan down the field. Rogers does not come up with the interception, but he should have never had the opportunity.
FAU couldn't find any success on that drive. Crawford and Dorsett deep to return for Miami. This is Crawford from the 41. Crawford eludes a couple of guys and takes it inside the 40. Nice return for Dallas Crawford. 38-yard punt, 21-yard return. 2 tight ends in the game for Miami. Here's Clements left side. Dragged down from behind by Joe Henry.
Defense right now. You want to be able to try to turn the football over and keep Miami at a 13-3. This is where Miami can blow the game wide open.
Quick tempo for Miami. Clements slices his way through to the 32-yard line. Andre Kirk. Miami's 3 of 7 on 3rd down tonight. On the draw, left side. And that'll be iffy. Reeser and Kirk combined to slow down Clements. Down. They were held short and turned it over. They're going to go for it again here today. Hagan's a fullback. This is Clements. And Clements has the first down for Miami. Jeremy McKnight with the tackle for FAU. Clements gets by one arm tackle. Brought down by another. Gain of 11 on first down to Darius Glanton. Senior from Lakeland, Florida. With the stop. FAU really needs a stop here headed into the locker room with 2:21 to go.
They almost need a timeout.
Senior from Monsignor Pace here in Miami. Play action. Morris to the end zone. Touchdown Miami. A big hit, but a bigger hold for Clive Walford, who holds it in the first touchdown pass of the season for Morris.
Tom, it takes toughness to play football at this level. And a nice bounce back throw from Stephen Morris, but a better catch by Clive Walford on the wheel route.
So they'll take a look at that one. This ACC crew, 2 minutes to go in the first half.
Nice strike. Back foot plants in the ground. That ball's gone on time. That's a huge collision in the end zone by Jenkins coming over from that safety position. Looks like he clearly catches the ball inbounds. Does he have it and control it to the ground? Can't tell from that picture there, but it looked like live that he had control of the football. This may give us a better opportunity to see that. Helmet right on the football.
Shouldn't take long, should it?
No, it looks like that's a good catch. It never moves.
Middle of the field stands. Touchdown.
That review took so long, Al Golden's shirt got dry. 6-play, 38-yard scoring drive for Miami. But good hands by the holder on what was a poor snap. Pat O'Donnell is the holder, and he was able to get the pigskin upright after having it pinned to the turf. Good catch, big hit, great hold. That was a massive pop, but Clive Walford held on to Stephen Morris's delight.
Morris throwing a strike in the end zone to his big tight end.
Smith and Reeser back. Reeser's got great speed. He's got it at the 2. Good block, and Reeser got popped at the 18-yard line. Wow. Ran into a wall named Dallas Crawford.
Talked about the speed, but you have to secure that football. That's a helmet right on the football, and FAU's lucky to get back on that.
So if you're Brian Wright, the FAU offensive coordinator, as you turn it to Hankerson now, quarterback, do you go up tempo full throttle here, or do you try and run some clock?
I think it depends on how they start this series. If they have success, they'll go up tempo.
This is a keeper by Hankerson on the read, and he's tripped up past the line of scrimmage. Nice gain on first down. Antonio Crawford submarines it. Jonathan Wallace is the running back. It's been a quiet night for him in terms of play calling. After a couple of taps, he gets it out. That is complete to De Leon, but he's immediately cut down by Crawford.
Tom, that's 2 consecutive plays by Antonio Crawford where he's been able to make secure tackles in the open field. There's 3 corners on this football team, and they're all pretty good at covering, and they all can cover ground, but they tackle well in space. Tracy Howard's one of them. Gunther's one of them. And Antonio Crawford is that 3rd guy that can come up and make plays like that.
Miami uses a timeout. First of the half to stop the clock and see if they can get another shot at the end zone before this second quarter comes to an end. 3rd and 5. Miami brings 2 extra men. Hankerson gets by one of them, then takes a hit. Tyrone Cornelius was the first man to stop him. That will bring up 4th and short for Florida. Remember, Sean Kelly, sophomore from Oakland, Florida, has done a tremendous job punting tonight for FAU. Philip Dorsett is the lone man back. Miami will set up for a return. Incredible hang time. Dorsett can only fair catch it back at the 22-yard line. So that changes things after a great punt.
Games get bigger down the road.
On 1st down, Morris looking to set up the screen. It's batted away. He catches his own pass. Brandon Bryant knocked it away. That'll cost Miami some field position, but at least it wasn't a turnover. Stephen Morris is 5 attempts away from moving into the ACC top 10 in consecutive passes without a pick.
Well, that's the screen we were talking about. And Bryant, the athletic defensive tackle, who's transformed his body. He's added some weight, but he didn't lose his athleticism. Gets a hand on the football.
And so FAU uses a timeout. That was a volleyball spike by Bryant, 6'2", 260. Duke Johnson in the backfield. Here he is off the right side, and he's hugged around the 11-yard line by Andre Kirk. FAU has a timeout if they want it. They used one a moment ago. Miami will have possession to open the second half. And they have a 17-point lead as they hit the locker room here at Sun Life Stadium. Florida Atlantic was right there. They'll stay on this field a little while longer. Let's take you down to the field now with Brooks standing by with Coach Golden.
Coach, you faced 3 different quarterbacks from FAU in that first half, but you held them to a field goal. What did you like about your defense?
Well, we're playing hard. We got a little overzealous a couple times with some penalties that we got to take care of quickly, but we're playing really hard. We're running through the ball. Obviously, their punter did a great job. He changed the field a couple of times on us, and we dropped a couple of big plays. We got to get Stacy Coley just to relax a little bit. It's his first game.
And how do you do that?
Well, just calm down. Just tell him we love him, and just relax, bro. You do it every day, man. It's no different out here. Just relax.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brooke, thanks. As simple as it sounds, right? The freshman wide receiver with a couple of drops. This could be a lot worse if you're an Owl fan, but Miami in control thanks to Duke Johnson. It's a big lead at the half. Time now to take you to Sports Center U with Dari Noka and Charles Arbuckle.
All right, guys, thank you much. 20-3 Hurricanes as they walk off the field feeling awfully good in this first game of the season for them. 20-3, defense getting it done. Explosiveness from Duke Johnson, which we expected there. That sophomore looks awfully good, Bob.
He really does, and I mean, there's been a